Today, we're lucky to have on set Jennifer Matney, a holistic nutritionist from Eat Positive, Be Positive, to give us some healthy tips on eating better for our bodies. Welcome, Jen. It's so good to have you on the studio.
Thank you so much for having me.
So can you tell us the difference between a holistic nutritionist and like a regular kind of nutritionist?
Sure. I actually get this question a lot. Nutrition is really the process by which we nourish and fuel our bodies, right? And holistic nutrition is really the goal of looking at the body as a whole. So when we go to our family doctor or primary care physician, usually if we say I'm having stomach issues, they'll send us to a gastroenterologist. If we're having heart issues, I'm going to send you to a cardiologist. When we look at holistic nutrition, we kind of look at how all of these different organs work in balance in the body, because typically when you find issues in one area, it reverberates in other areas. So we want to make sure the homeostasis of the body actually is in balance all across the board. And holistic nutrition also has the calling card of being very individual to each person. People have different constitutions, they have different cultures, they have different foods they're used to digesting or eating on a regular basis. So it really takes all of that evidence-based information that we have, all of those alternative therapies and all of the individual information to create a very specific personalized plan for people.
There seems to be a lot of a movement to eliminate carbs from diet, the keto, the paleo. So are carbs
Absolutely.
really the worst thing you could possibly eat, or?
Well, I think people are really turning to some of these more strict diet plans because they're really struggling to focus on building health and feeling good and losing weight on the standard American diet. They're really struggling right now. And paleo and keto, they really focus on carbs, but they also focus on consuming optimal protein and high quality fats. And the key with the keto and the paleo diet is really not removing all carbs, but focusing on a specific subset of carbs. We have two different kinds that we talk about regularly. That's complex carbohydrates and simple carbohydrates. And simple carbs refer to refined sugar, sugar in general, processed foods, things you'd find in a box. And some of those foods obviously cause a lot of inflammation and dysbiosis in the body. So individuals who follow the keto and the paleo diet, they're really looking to minimize and or completely restrict those foods, but they still consume the other carbohydrate, the complex carbs, which is very ubiquitous in the plant kingdom. You know, broccoli, sweet potatoes, all of those things definitely have complex carbs.
So you're saying I can't just eat 3 pounds of bacon and lose weight?
That's exactly right. I mean, you probably wouldn't feel very well either, actually. Yeah.
There seems to be a lot of trends happening in addition to the cleanses. Are cleanses a good thing? Can we actually lose weight and have health benefits from doing a cleanse?
So cleanses are really popular. I think there's a big one right now that's if you consume water with maybe cayenne and lemon, and detoxes are kind of a cut from the same cloth. Individuals will consume vegetable juices or fruit juices, and the way that they're marketed to people now in the mainstream popular diet fad essence is really to eliminate the body of toxins. And once you do that, you lose weight like that, it just drips off. And I recommend to people, whether you're doing a cleanse, whether you're doing a detox, or you can even do fasting. Humans have done fasting for millennia now for religious reasons or other reasons, feast and famine, things like that. Really focus on your reason for doing that. Are you punishing your body? Or are you really looking to build health by lowering inflammation, building your heart health? You can actually build your gut health. You can boost your immune system with some of these options. So I recommend people find a good reason to start. I recommend they find a professional, whether that's a medical person or a holistic nutritionist, someone they trust to really move forward with that and know what they're doing. And then you definitely have to have a support group. If you're going to be removing solid foods in any way, you might feel a little crazy at first. You might feel a little cranky. So you definitely need some good friends and loved ones to kind of support you and keep you moving forward. Yeah.
So water, obviously, everyone says you should be drinking 6 to 8. How much water should we be drinking a day? What are the health benefits?
Sure. So water is incredibly important for the body. It actually helps balance our body temperature. It helps to eliminate waste from our bodies, and it also is really important in digesting nutrients. A lot of nutrients are water soluble, so we need that hydration to digest those nutrients and absorb them. Through everyday movement, sweating, urination, and even actually as we breathe out of our nose and our mouths, we lose about 48 ounces of water every single day. So that's the bare minimum in my book, and that's about 6 glasses. And typically people say about 6 to 8. I usually recommend 8 to 12 for optimal water intake. Because I find when I speak to people, they'll say, I think I had 2 yesterday, and I find on average, they're consuming about 16 to 32, so you need some time to kind of drink a little bit more to balance it out.
Are there any specific times that we should be drinking water?
Sure, that's a great question. I usually recommend kind of having a schedule of water intake, because it really helps people remember to drink enough. And you can do maybe 8 ounces of water right when you wake up, 8 ounces of water before and after you work out, before you go to bed. It's also incredibly helpful to drink water before you eat. Mm-hmm. Oftentimes people don't understand that they're actually thirsty instead of hungry, so that can be really helpful. Another one is before and after you shower. If you drink 8 ounces of water or so, it can actually help build your heart health. There are certain detox things that happen when you're showering that can be benefited by consuming water.
Most people think that they can get away with just drinking coffee or tea. Is that true? Can I just drink like an iced tea and still have the same value as just drinking regular water?
That's a great question. I'm really glad you brought that up, because people don't realize that there are certain things that are called diuretics, and maybe they do. Coffee is one, alcohol is one, soda is another big one. And when you consume those diuretic beverages, you actually need to consume more water to balance the budget of those 2 drinks. Because let's say you drink 8 ounces of water and you drink 8 ounces of Coca-Cola, you're going to be then draining yourself right back to 0 hydration. Tea is actually an okay one. Green tea is actually incredibly great for your health. It has a lot of antioxidants. It tastes great. People drink a lot of black tea, which is also good. But I also recommend there that you focus on not adding additional sweetener. That'll be really helpful.
In addition to the liquids, what are some great superfoods you recommend?
Sure. So when we talk about superfoods, we're talking about foods that are nutrient dense. And by that I mean calorie for calorie, pound for pound, you're getting more vitamins and minerals and antioxidants and fiber, all of those good things, those building blocks that our bodies need. And so nutrient dense foods are superfoods, they're whole foods. And superfoods are actually kind of like right at the top of the pyramid of the nutrient density foods. So some of my favorites are nutritional yeast. It's actually a really good source of a wide variety of B vitamins. So it's really good for people who are deficient in B vitamins. It's really good for individuals dealing with inflammation. And it actually, for individuals who choose a vegan lifestyle, it's a really good dairy alternative to get additional vitamins in. Another one is flaxseed, which is incredibly rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which is really good for brain health. It's going to help your gut be able to digest the food that you're consuming. Another one is spirulina or sea vegetables. You can do seaweed, there's kombu or nori, there's kelp. Spirulina is really great because people don't usually like the taste of sea vegetables, which you can put in soups or you can kind of use as a garnish for salads. But spirulina comes in a fine powder that you can add to smoothies, and people don't usually taste it. So it's one of those kind of hidden gems of getting in really nutrient-dense foods without feeling the quote-unquote pain of that. Because some people don't like to choose foods that they're not used to.
What is the difference between good calories and bad calories?
Sure. So there's kind of in American society now, there's a environment around eating that can be kind of toxic, where we're labeling foods as inherently good or inherently bad. And that can be really problematic, because if we label soda as inherently bad, and we label, let's say, kale or avocados as inherently good, we start to feel criticism towards ourselves and guilt and shame for choosing inherently bad foods or not choosing enough inherently good foods. And so I try to caution people from labeling things as good for you or bad for you. Instead, I try to say, what are some of the foods that you enjoy that build your health? They have good nutrient density. You feel good when you eat them. You don't feel drained or tired or bloated. And they're really giving you more bang for your buck. Those are going to be the foods. If you can eat those foods 80% of the time, you're doing something really great for your health. And if you're already at 80%, try jumping it up to 85 or 90. But there is an understanding that some calories are different than others. They process differently in our bodies. So in that case, there are negative health repercussions for some foods, absolutely.
Well, this is some great information. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you.